All right, got a few things to talk about today. Yu Darvish out for the 2026 season. We can talk about some of the roster things that happened here for the Padres in terms of options not being picked up, certain guys reaching free agency, and then Peter Seidler Way. That is the thing at Petco Park. And so I'll get to that here at the end. But Yu Darvish, let's start there. Missing the 2026 season after having elbow surgery. As you can see here, he put out a tweet today, and Jeff Passan obviously quote tweeted it with the news. But Darvish tweeting, last Wednesday, I underwent elbow surgery performed by Dr. Keith Meister. I think Keith is his first name. I will not be able to pitch in games during the 2026 season. I will work hard on my rehab to be able to throw a ball comfortably again. So that should squash the is Yu Darvish going to retire? He wants to play again in his what age season would that be? Age 40? Because what is he right now? He's 39. Yeah. So getting up there, and his contract is through, I believe, 2028. So you look at that and you look back and it's like, yeah, that's not the best. Not the best contract. I think people at the time were like, all right, that's great that we have you Darvish for like right now for, couple years what I mean by like right now. But the back end, we may not get you Darvish even at all in the back end, meaning maybe he doesn't finish the contract and he retires. But that's part of the thing that kind of pissed me off today, seeing some of this reaction to Darvish not retiring. Social media is going to be social media, but there's a bunch of fans out there that I saw that were saying, just please retire, dude. Help the team out. If you retire, like, don't have to pay you because you're voluntarily saying, like, all right, I'm done. But there's a couple of things that I think people need to realize, or maybe they realize it, but they're just not saying it. A couple things. The first one is not even about the money, but it's this guy's a competitor. And I think people forget about that. They see the money and they're like, of course, he's not going to turn down that money. Why would you retire when you have that money? Like, you're not going to retire. You're going to keep working your way back, even if you don't pitch great coming back or you make one or two appearances. At least you were working your way back and you're still getting money during the 2026 season. But these guys are competitors. Can we think about this for a minute? Yu Darvish is one of the best Japanese pitchers of all time. And he has not won a World Series yet, though. He's been in the World Series, and he cares a lot about this organization and the city. He's got a son that attends Cathedral. So he's connected here. And he's pissed, I'm sure, that that's how the season ended. Was him not pitching great. He went one inning, gave up a couple of runs in that game 3 start. And his team gets eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. While he sees the team up the road, which I'm sure he doesn't like, sees them go win the World Series. And even if you take the Dodgers out of it, it's just the Padres didn't win the World Series. The Padres didn't make it to the division series. So he's probably irritated with that. And then you add the surgery on it. And then he's probably seeing a bunch of people doubting him and, wanting him to retire and all that stuff. And he's like, all right, I'm going to prove you guys wrong. That's what competitors are, like the money is not the reason why Yu Darvish continues to pitch. He's set for life. His family's set for life. He's good. But these guys are competitors. And, these guys, like, what are they going to do when they're done playing? Like, that's also something that I should probably throw out there. Because some players are just like, this is all I know. I'm going to keep doing it because this is all I know. And I love doing it. I love competing, being out there with the guys, being in that clubhouse. Like, I don't know what else I would do. So, and Darvish is just someone that, to me, seems like, yeah, he's one of those guys that really loves the game. And he's a competitor. He doesn't want to end his career that way. And the second thing, like the dude was offered a contract and he signed it. And I don't know everything obviously about Japanese culture and all that, but probably, I mean, it seems like Japanese player like they're big on respect and honoring things. So Darvish may look at it and be like, I agreed to pitch for the Padres through this, you know, 2020, was it 2028, I think? I agreed and I told the Padres that I would pitch through this season. So I'm going to do it. I'm honoring the contract. And there are some Padres fans that may not like that because they want Darvish's money cleared off the books and they believe Darvish is cooked and they don't want you Darvish clogging up the pit. Like they'd rather just go a younger route and clear up the money. But I think it is valuable to have you Darvish still in that clubhouse and be a voice for this team. And do I think that Darvish has nothing left to give? No, I don't believe that. I believe he has something left to give. I'm not going to act like this, like we'll get prime you Darvish when he comes back. But back of the rotation guy, yeah, sign me up to have you Darvish in the back of my rotation. Of course. And yes, it is through 2028, his age 41 season. So 2026 will be technically his age 39 season. So he would come back for his age 40 season. Through 2028, like he signed an agreement and he's probably, and part of him maybe like, because of a big respect thing, like I'm honoring that agreement. If the team comes to me and they don't want to do this anymore, that's one thing, but like I'm in this. I agreed to do this. I'm finishing it. And that's the way it is. And also, the guy's a competitor. The guy wants to win. He hasn't won a World Series. You think he just wants to not try to come back from this? Of course, he's going to want to try to come back from this. These guys care about winning. Some people may think about some players in baseball where they showed like maybe winning wasn't their number one thing that drove them every day when they got up out of bed and they cling on to those people. But there's a lot of people that are not that way. And what drives them is that competition and wanting to beat everyone. So I wanted to get that out there because I don't like people wishing that you Darvish were to retire and just hang them up and go enjoy life and all that stuff. Like I just didn't like seeing that today. As for the 2026 season, and now you got money that you're still paying Darvish. Like, yeah, it sucks that Darvish is going to be out. The depth of the rotation, it's Pavetta's the ace. It's Musgrove coming back from Tommy John, who could come back stronger. Who knows? That has happened before with guys that have gotten Tommy John. But it is a question mark. Then you got Randy Vasquez, you got JP Sears, Matt Waldron. That would be like guys rounding out the rotation at this point. And that's assuming that Morahone, Estrada, Miller, they're all staying in the bullpen. Obviously, this is not something that I want to talk about much, the state of the rotation, because it's November 4th. The Padres don't have a manager. The GM meetings haven't even happened. Like, if you want to overreact, not even overreact, but react, let's say, you want to panic about the rotation when spring training opens, okay, that's fine. But to react to the state of the rotation right now on November 4th, I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. Like the length I'm going to go about talking about the rotation is, yeah, it's a blow to the depth of the rotation, and that's it. Like, of course, I want Darvish healthy, but other than that, like, I'm not really going to react to what the state of the rotation is right now because we already knew going into this offseason that the rotation was an area of need. AJ's already said that. So really, it's just waiting to see what the Padres do and then react to that and see what the rotation will look like going into spring training. Heck, even sure, I'll react going into spring training, obviously, but not like give my ultimate, okay, this is what I believe about the rotation because AJ Preller, he's done it before. He's brought in big league arms during spring training. I believe he brought in Nick Pivetta during spring training. Michael Wacha was another one that comes to mind. So, like, it's happened before. So let's cool our jets if we're, to start panicking about the rotation. Seeing the news today, yeah, my ultimate reaction was like, you got to be effing kidding me. Like, really? We don't have can we get a manager before we get bad news about guys being out for the season? So wishing the best to you, obviously. Um, and yeah, that's what I've got on Darvish being out for 2026. I did see some discussion about game 3 and the Padres knew he needed surgery. Why would they start him? My initial take on that today was like, I hope the Padres weren't that dumb to start Darvish. Let's not assume that they knew that Darvish needed surgery. Um, I did delete that tweet. I'll admit that because I do, realize I did see some comments, and then I went back and looked at Darvish's year and what he went through there as a whole, and dealing with the elbow problems and some of his comments, and it's like, okay, they probably knew that he was gonna need. Maybe I was right about like they didn't know what surgery he was gonna need, like the specifics, but it's probably safe to be like, probably safe to know with what was going on there that okay, might as well throw him until he can't throw anymore because it's Yu Darvish. Like let's hope he's got some magic in there for a couple innings for us to start off this game 3, and then we can go, whatever route. But also thinking back to game 3, they pitched Michael King there for not a long period of time. If they knew this about Darvish, why did they insist on Darvish starting? Maybe it was because they wanted to see what he could give, and then you can go to King and the rest of the bullpen. If you start King, maybe you pull him earlier than you want to because you have Darvish there and you're like, hey, we can go to Darvish if we see any trouble. But Michael King looked really good in that wild card game. So that is interesting. He didn't go long. He pitched what, an inning in that game? The offense was the problem. But I do think about that, like, Darvish and the elbow problems only went an inning in that game, I believe. And they bring King in and he only went an inning. Why couldn't he go a little bit longer there? When he probably was the healthier guy in terms of his arm. So we'll see. We'll see if King's back. If he gets a good offer, then he's not going to be back. I don't see the Padres being the highest bidder for Michael King. How are they going to replace? Via trade? Is it going to be a Nick Pivetta type signing where they get creative with the money? Although there is more money that's being freed up. But as we say that, like, because, there's talk about, like Hosmer, his contract's freed up. Yeah, but then there's 16 mil that Darvish is getting paid this year that he's not going to play. So it's, but I mean, this past year we had Musgrove making whatever it was, I think 20 mil probably, and he didn't play. So you're kind of subbing those in a sense. So it's not like they didn't have this going on this past season. So bummer of a news day for sure for the Padres, mainly with that news. Still no manager news. There are player transaction decisions. There is the deadline Thursday on the Padres needing to accept or decline Ramon Laureano's team option. That's for $6 million. That will be accepted. If it's not accepted, I will be mad. There were a few decisions though. Padres declined team options on left-hander Kyle Hart, utility man Tyler Wade, and then declined their half of their mutual option on Elias Diaz, meaning that he's a free agent because even if Diaz accepted, it's a mutual option. So the Padres had to accept. Diaz would have made $7 million. Just look at it isolated with just Elias Diaz, the player, not the money. That I would have accepted the option. I would not have denied it, declined the mutual option. But when you look at the money, it's like, all right, we could pay this guy $2 million and then offer him $1 million 1 year, $1 million 1 year, 2 mil, and you save a few million, right? So there it makes sense. Um, but just Diaz, I would have brought him back if money's not a thing, but money is a thing. So it makes sense why they did that. Kyle Hart, that would have been 5 mil, I believe. Yeah, 5 mil he would have been owed. So that's an obvious like, nope. You could offer him. It's a $500,000 buyout according to the UT here. So you could just again kind of like Diaz, but smaller scale. You could just offer him a deal to come back as depth, but you're not paying him 5 million. Tyler Wade, they would have paid him $1 million. That one is the most surprising one out of these three because I mean, what could happen is like the Dodgers or another NL contender could just go sign Tyler Wade for $1 million and be like, the Padres didn't want to give you this. We're going to literally give you this. Or sign him to $1 million and 1 cent. Just to be like, Padres wouldn't give you this, but we're going to give you this. We'll give you more. Come to us. The Padres, I wouldn't be surprised if they offered him a major league minimum deal, right? Definitely they'd invite him to spring training. He was DFA'd twice, stayed in the organization in the minors. So he likes being here, but does he want to go be in the minors all of next year and just be here in case they need me? Because would another team, I know they didn't do it this year, but like going into a year, another team wouldn't want to give him a major league minimum deal. Because if the Padres don't do that, I would think if I'm another team, I don't care if I'm bad, having a vet like Tyler Wade in my clubhouse, that's something that I would want. And he can play. He's not terrible. So we'll see if they bring Tyler Wade back. That's going to be probably a late in the year or a late in the offseason thing, like right before spring training or during spring training. Wade assessing the offers that he gets. And then I would think that he'd have the Padres. You will be either on the roster or you'll be first option to bring you up in El Paso. He'll have that in his back pocket, I would think, from the Padres. But $1 million for Tyler Wade, they couldn't do that. Maybe they're like, we're going to choose Iglesias for $1 million over Tyler Wade. We'll see. But I hope Tyler Wade will be back in the organization because I think he can be a useful piece. Heck, if next year for us can be the Dodgers type thing, maybe Tyler Wade hits a homer in Game 7 of the World Series. What a story that would be. All right. Those are the options there. Talked about Darvish. Peter Seidler Way is the other thing that I wanted to get to here today. Because on social media, Jed_B this morning put out a photo of the Padres getting ready for some sort of ceremony outside the ballpark, right there on the street, on the sidewalk there. And I was like, that looks like a street being named. And the only correct answer would be Peter Seidler. I said Peter Seidler Boulevard. Before I get to that, the update was that I saw was that it was taken down. Like the chairs were taken down. They set it up and then they took it down. So I was like, oh, nothing's happening. But then they did it today. So I don't know what was happening there. But a couple things. Peter Seidler's family didn't make it. Shieldon couldn't make it. The daughters, I don't know what happened there. But I don't really like that. I know there's other people that were, made their plans probably around the day to attend it. So you're kind of screwing them to be like, well, we're not going to do it this day. But the most important people here are Peter Seidler's family. And I know John was there, obviously. There were people, Tom was there. People in the family were there, but not Shield, not the daughters. I don't understand. I don't like that. If you're going to be doing something, I don't care if everybody else that was here today couldn't make it. My priority is to have Shield there. That's my priority. But maybe I have different priorities than them. Maybe it was a last minute thing and, they were doing it today and Shield said, nope, go ahead. Something came up. Go ahead, do it. Thank you. we're honored to have this. Like, thank you so much. Just go ahead and do it. But if they knew that she wasn't gonna be able to make it, that that would rub me the wrong way. But anyway, let's get to Peter here. Peter Seidler Way. I thought that they would just rename it Peter Seidler Boulevard because it's Park Boulevard. Why can't they change that? What's so special about Park Boulevard? I know you'd have to change the address on everything, but it's worth it, right? It's the off season. Like for packages that have to go to Petco Park, why maybe it's something that you could work out with the city like through the off season for mail and all, like it's still Park Boulevard. And then on this date, we change it to Peter Seidler Way, something like that, or Peter Seidler Boulevard, something. Um, for them to change that street to Peter Seidler Way, I would have just because was it what street was that? It's the intersection there that for those that have been to Petco, like let's say you're going to the trolley, like I do. You walk from by the ticket office there, the ticket windows, across that intersection to go, right? That's Peter Seidler Way. I forget what it was before, or if there had to have been uh, a street there. What was that name? Because I know Hoffman is that corner there. There's Tony Gwynn, obviously. So I forget what that street name was, but I would have just renamed Park Boulevard Peter Seidler Way or Peter Seidler Boulevard, whatever. But the bottom, like, what matters is that he got it and it's well deserved. Like, that's the obvious thing. This guy changed how the Padres are looked at, and he changed our expectation, like what we could expect as Padre fans, and gave us hope for potentially winning a World Series one day. If it was past ownership, we wouldn't have those thoughts of like anything can happen. We have the team, we have the talent. Those thoughts would not cross our minds because you need that financial commitment. You need that owner to be like, I don't care about 5 years from now. I'm trying to win right now. Let's go win, you know? So he changed that. And then on top of that, great human being outside of the Padres, what the work that he was doing, trying to help the homeless, like just overall great human being. And that's someone that, of course, should get a street named after them, right outside of Petco. So that's awesome. That was great to see that they did go through with it. I wish that Sheil and the fam was there. But still, that's going to be cool to walk up to Petco and be like, oh, Peter Seidler Way. That's awesome. Because that guy, he should live forever. That name should live forever. It shouldn't just be we'll put a PS with a heart in center field for, opening day and then that's it. I know that the Padres, they continue to put the PS with the heart in the dugout, but I think it should be on the patch, for the rest of time, or at least the rest of time that the Seidler family is owning the team. That's how it should be. But to have the street, like that's a forever thing. That's awesome because it is well deserved because he changed the organization, changed the city forever. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that. Forever. He changed it. So that was great. All right. Shout out to the great partners of the show before ending this. Gaglione Bros, famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. Their main location is on Friars Road. Check them out. Link in the description. Phone number, address, all that good stuff. Great cheesesteaks, cheesesteak fries, garlic fries. If you're going to Snapdragon Stadium on Sunday for SDFC's win or go home game 3, winner take all against Portland to move on to the next round, which then becomes single elimination. If you're going to that game, Gaglione Bros is there on the east side of Snapdragon Stadium. They're on the concourse. Check it out. I think it's a reasonable price, good price, especially for stadium food. And it's very, very good. When I went to SDFC match earlier this year, I obviously had to get the cheesesteak fries. So hope you enjoy that if you are going to the Snap coming up this weekend. A big, F Portland, beat Portland, whatever you want to call it, weekend for the city of San Diego. Both teams, San Diego FC and San Diego Wave, are playing Portland. SDFC is playing Portland on Sunday later after Wave plays at Portland at noon on ABC. So I hope that everybody tunes into ABC for that first round of the playoffs. That's single elimination. So that is win or go home. There's no best of three. And then the winner would advance to the semis to probably take on Washington Spirit in DC. But if Louisville wins, then it would be at either Portland or at San Diego because Louisville's the 7th seed. So there's that at noon. And then later in the day at, I think, 6 is SDFC hosting Portland there at Snapdragon. So both teams hosting Portland, Portland Thorns and Portland Timbers. So a big beat Portland week here in San Diego. Breaking Tea, they've got Padres and Aztec shirts and sweatshirts. Click the link in the description for that. They also have other city shirts, other sport shirts. So click that link and you'll still be able to navigate to whatever shirt, whatever item that you want. And then SeatGeek, code Talking Friars, $20 off your first order when you sign up with your email. This is not just for Padres, but it goes for other events in the city, other concerts. So please use that to your advantage. Again, code Talking Friars, $20 off your first order when you sign up with your email. All right. Any thoughts that you had on Padres news of the day? Let me know in the comments. There was a lot of comments in that Dodgers reaction to them winning the World Series and SDFC's playoff match. I know it was a lot of Dodger fans, and they loved to see me not very happy. But I appreciate it nonetheless. Like it's good conversation. If people get joy out of it, that's great. Hopefully, we get joy. City of San Diego can get joy coming up next year, and our time eventually will come at some point. Gotta hope. Just gotta keep the faith. But yeah, hopefully both teams in action later this week, or technically next week on Sunday. They get wins and get to keep their seasons going. And then San Diego State basketball, they're playing right now as I'm recording this against Long Beach State. So former San Diego State assistant coach Chris Acker is the head at Long Beach State. Magoon Guas out. Reese Dixon Waters, he is out. They're being precautionary, it seems like, there with that. Goon was already going to be out. He'll be out for probably a couple weeks. So some different pieces. First time that they're in action. We'll see how they do. But yeah, that's what's going on here, San Diego sports wise. Coming up, SDSU football, I believe, is going to be at Hawaii. So yeah, that is it. But enjoy the rest of your night, and thanks for watching.